work week look like. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. For some of you who work, 40 hours a week, 40 plus hours a week, or regular job or whatnot, for myself, every Monday through Tuesday, there were a specific amount of hours that were blocked off because I had to be at work. Does this look familiar to anybody? Mm-hmm. So it was 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 p.m. at night. And that was about 9 hours of my particular day that was taken out because I knew that I had to go to work, because if I didn't go to work, I wouldn't get paid. If I didn't go to work, I might get fired, right? So this was 9 hours a day times 5 days. Let's say this is 45 hours. Well, what I like to call have-to time. Meaning that I have to go to work for those 45 hours and I have to be there, or I might get fired, I might not get paid, right? And so in my business, they said, Mike, you want to treat your business like a job until it pays you like a business. So I was like, okay, treat it like a job. What does that mean? They said, Mike, well, you have to create some have-to hours in your business because you have to be serious about your business and like no ifs, no ands, no buts, no excuses. I have to do these particular hours and I have to be there. Here's what happened. I found out for myself that I had a weekly business briefing, and that went from 7 o'clock to 8:30. And then I had a weekly training, and this weekly training went from 7 p.m. to 9:30. And this was a training. Excuse that. An hour and a half plus 2.5 hours equals 4 hours of have-to time. And was it a sacrifice? Of course. I sacrificed my Tuesdays and my Thursday nights. An additional 4 hours, but I knew that if I had just added these 4 hours, and the interesting thing is that some people will complain, maybe even some of you in the room, like, oh man, it takes me an hour, it takes me 30 minutes to get to the event, then we hang out after the event, and the whole entire thing takes like 3 hours, 4 hours. Here's a challenge. When I was working, I never talked about my commute and never added up like, oh man, I got to get up at this particular time, and I counted that with. I never complained about that because I knew that I had to go do it. And I never said, oh man, me and my coworkers were hanging out in the parking lot after. No, I never talked about that. But in the business, sometimes people just make excuses in regards to it takes too much time. No, this was my have-to time. Because here's what ended up happening. They said to me, Mike, if you just commit to this, and the 10 core commitments and all those different things, they said, Mike, this could change for you. And this is the system, this is the foundation of being able to build your business to a point where you can control your time a little bit. Here's what ended up happening. For me, stay consistent for 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. I've been consistent ever since, for the past 6.5 years. This is what my time looked like at that point among my other couple part-time jobs, right? And what I started to do was, in addition to these things, I would put private business receptions, like on Mondays. I put a private business reception on a Wednesday, put a private business reception on a Friday, put a private business reception blitz on a Saturday, put a private business reception blitz on a Sunday. To fill in those gaps, because I've found out, especially those of you who are, does anybody build their business from business briefing to business briefing? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. Does anyone just build into the business briefing and nothing else? Okay. If you build only into the business briefing, what happens is that how many business briefings are there, if you only go to once a week, how many business briefings are there a month?
4.
4. So they said, Mike, if you only build into the business briefing, you're only building your business 4 days out of the month. See, for me, I just said, well, how big of a business do you think you're going to build if you only build 4 days out of the month? That's like 7-Eleven only being open 4 days out of the month. Does it make sense? They said, with your business, you can fill in the gaps. And so we're going to talk about the how-tos in a second. But me plugging into this for 10 months erased all of this. My days and my time went from what you just saw to this right now. And so the interesting thing is what I wanted in this business was to be able to capture some of my time back. But notice that I had to add more time I had to add more time to devote into my business in order to capture that time back. One thing that I learned was that the exact thing that you want out of this business is the exact thing that you have to sacrifice right now in order to get it later. For some people, it's like, I want to spend some more time with my kids. Sometimes it's the time with your kids that you have to sacrifice just a little bit, not all of it, but just a little bit more, or just a little bit, to be able to have it a little bit later. Does that make sense? See, when I saw some things like this, and when I saw the vision of where we could potentially go, I said, you know what, I'm all for it. I'm not going to miss a briefing. I'm not going to miss a training, because they told me that if I consistently plug into them, but also fill my calendar with the other activities as well, I'm going to be able to go out there and do some things. Make sense? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how-tos. Make sense to everyone? Yeah.